Okay, so this is Ian. I'm a nurse here at DHS, LA County, and Josie Matson, my colleague, she's going to be demonstrating for us today how you properly apply a Unna Boot. Unna Boot is a compression dressing. It's usually used as a wrap that we use on people who typically, if they have venous stasis ulcers, will do wound care and then do a Unna Boot around their lower extremity afterwards. It's a cool dressing because you can keep it on for 7 to 10 days. So Josie's gonna start. What are you doing, Josie?
All right, well, when you're doing an Unna Boot, it's going to stay on for a number of days, so you want to put something on the skin to protect the skin from dryness.
What do you usually use?
So we usually use A&D ointment. You can use lotion, whatever you have, but this is what we use a lot in the clinic. So I'm going to slather this on your leg, Ian.
It's slathering time. Oh my gosh.
Can we just pretend we did this part?
Yeah, we definitely.
Okay, look, I did it.
That's awesome. Why
Okay.
did you bring it out?
Well, it's an important part to have people do.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Moisturizing the skin.
Yeah, I think you're right. You're right.
Because the medicated gauze in the Unna Boot can really dry the skin out.
Oh, okay.
It promotes circulation, but can dry it out.
What's the medication that's in the Unna Boot?
It's like zinc oxide and a bunch of other things that are supposed to magically make circulation better.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And it seems to work.
Yeah. Nice. Oh, we're gonna pretend that I have a wound too, right?
Yes.
This giraffe, it's my venous stasis ulcer. Maybe? No?
We're gonna pretend this is an ulcer, and we're gonna pretend that, I'm just gonna cover it with some gauze, but if you do have a leg with a wound that you're putting an Unna Boot on, you wanna make sure that you do the wound care first. The Unna Boot does not go directly on the wound. You want the wound covered.
What was that?
The Unna Boot does not go directly on the wound. You want to cover the wound. The ointment that's in the gauze of the Unna Boot should not get inside the wound.
So that's a no-no, everyone. No Unna Boot on the wound.
You got it.
This is also, just for the record, this is not a wound care video. This is a Unna Boot strictly video. So please don't be taking your wound care tips from the wound care that we're slapshot doing on my tattoo fake venous stasis ulcer.
All right, so we're gonna cover his wound first, like this.
Great.
Actually, and then you can ask your patient to help. Will you put your finger there?
Yeah, I got my hand there.
Is this getting in the frame at all?
Yeah, it's in the frame. That's the Unna Boot right there, right?
This is the Unna Boot.
I'm so not prepared for this.
It's a
so
sticky,
gross.
wet gauze.
Oh my gosh.
Covered in medication, and you want to start the boot at the base of the toes. So we're going to start it like this.
Nice.
Right at the base of the toes. It'll feel slimy and cold.
Oh, it doesn't feel as bad as I thought it would, for the record.
Let me have you lift your leg up a little bit. Okay, we're going
It's
around.
like playing Twister, kind of.
If you want to let go of that, I'll get to it.
No, it's all good. It's good for realism.
Okay. When you're applying the Unna Boot bandage, you want to try to smooth out any of wrinkles, because those can cause irritation on the skin, or maybe even a skin fold you don't want to do.
What are you doing? Why'd you fold that?
Okay, so the technique for applying this is to fold it back and forth. When that allows it to stretch when it dries. So it's a lot more comfortable for the person.
Oh, cool.
But Ian's going to tell us all about that later.
Oh, am I?
Yes, you
Oh,
are.
about how uncomfortable it is?
How it feels when it's actually on you.
Yeah, I think this is a good lesson for me, because I've put a lot of these on patients, but I've never worn one before. I think it's good to know what people suffer through.
So you're just going to go back and forth. You just need to do one layer. You don't need to cake it on here, just one layer.
Nice. It feels kind of nice, to be honest.
That's cool.
Do you have a heel technique?
You just try to get it on there as smooth as possible. I've developed my own sort of way to do that, but there's not really a correct way. Just get whatever feels comfortable and that is as smooth as possible.
All right. So wrinkles are our enemy here.
Exactly.
It's technically a soft cast. That's a little FYI for everyone. I learned that when I was reading about Unna Boots.
Okay, so here I'm getting to the bandage over his wound. So we're just going to go right over that. It's going to hold the bandage in place.
Nice. And the bandage is so the Unna Boot, I'm repeating again what Josie already said twice, but so the Unna Boot does not go directly on the wound. It will not irritate the wound. Nice. Oh, cool. Now I'm free.
Most people with venous stasis don't have a lot of hair on their legs. It's like literally the first time I've ever put an Unna Boot on someone with hair.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So back and forth, and you want to go all the way to the top of the calf.
Oh, nice. About how far below the knee do you usually go?
Like 2 finger widths below the knee.
Okay.
Fun times at the Star Clinic.
So we couldn't recruit someone to be the director of photography for this episode of how to do an Unna Boot with Josie. Is that high enough?
You want it higher?
Is that? I'm just saying for realism. I usually go higher than that. Okay. I don't mean to be nitpicky, but.
Go ahead and be nitpicky.
Gosh, micromanager over here. That's perfect. Thank you.
I need some scissors. Hold on.
Okay. Here, I can hold that.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. Partner with your patient. Look at that.
Okay, so throw out the rest of it. Don't wrap it, the extra stuff down the leg, because you don't need more than one layer. And then I like to smooth this out a little bit if it's started to wrinkle at all.
Nice. It looks really good. Honestly, I'm going to be real with everyone watching. This looks a lot nicer than the Unna Boots I usually do. Josie is a pro. I don't understand how she does this. She does the Avon Unna Boot. It's wrinkle-free.
All right. So the next layer is the Curlex layer. This is gonna help. Basically, it helps the Coban grab onto the boot. You don't really technically need this layer, but it's more comfortable for most people.
Oh, nice.
And I do the figure 8 here.
Oh, you do a figure 8? Oh, yeah, I've noticed that you do that when I'm doing the wound care after you. Yeah, I don't figure 8 it, so.
Whatever works. You don't want to leave a gap on the heel. That often happens.
Yeah, that looks pretty good.
And then when you're doing a compression dressing with this Curlex, you want to make sure that you're overlapping 50%, so that it's a equal, even layer of Curlex.
So 50 covering the old Curlex, and then 50 is new, all the way up, right?
Exactly, yes.
Same with Coban?
Same with Coban.
Nice.
Wow, this fits perfectly.
Whoa, look at that. Standard leg.
Okay, your last layer of the Unna Boot is the Coban. And this stuff, you want to try to make it so that the compression is even from the base of the toes to the top of the calf. So that's part of kind of a technique that you just sort of develop over time. This is how I start it on the leg. Kind of anchor it on one side like this. Stretch it over the top of the foot and down to the bottom. I'm still holding it here. Hold it here. Bring it around and attach it like that.
Nice. Oh, that feels good. This doesn't feel as bad as I thought it would.
Cool.
I guess that's good. I mean, wound dressing probably shouldn't feel bad.
Most people say they like how it feels. So I'm straightening out wrinkles on the Coban around the ankle here to help it have an even stretch.
She's like a total pro at this. Again, I try to...
You do it exactly the same way, dude.
Okay, well...
All right. So once you're over the ankle, you want to try to get this 50%.
So you can see
overlap.
kind of 50 of it is lighter in color and 50 is darker because it's double covered.
And I'm trying to maintain even stretch on the Coban.
Nice.
The whole time.
It feels pretty nice, people. I'm not gonna lie. This is also a 4-inch Coban roll. We also will use 3-inch for people who have shorter legs. If you have a more petite client, you can use that 3-inch roll. I would never recommend using anything smaller than a 3-inch for a Unna Boot.
It's just annoying.
Yeah, you just lose too much and you have to use too many rolls. It doesn't really make sense.
Okay, and again, you don't want to use the extra. If you have extra Coban, just cut it off. And then let it attach to itself as Coban does.
Whoa, it feels sorry.
Okay, and then I like to kind of go over it and just sort of smooth everything out at the end. And make sure all these layers have really adhered to each other.
Yeah, thank you. It looks very adhered. Yeah, you can also use like the end of the roll sometimes to press it down. Wow, it feels... Look at that. That's a Unna Boot right there.
You want me to get a good shot of it?
Yeah, sure. Get a good shot of it.
Look at this.
Look at that.
So that can stay on for up to 7. They even say 10 days. I usually don't leave it on more than 7.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.